Bitcoin Cash is moving at the speed of light. So this is Shun. He's the creator of the Yenom wallet.
Yes.
We heard him speak last week with Alfonso, the head of our wallet team and the creator of the Bread wallet, at a local meetup. And I thought what they were doing was really awesome. Their whole vibe is to make the most simple wallet ever. And that's a really powerful play. You know, the reason the iPhone is worth so much, well, that's not the iPhone. The reason the iPhone is worth so much is because it hides so much complexity behind these very simple actions, which are intuitive to even children. So whenever I saw that their whole vibe was to make the simplest wallet ever, that resonated with me very strongly. So we met up last night and talked, and I asked him to be involved in this first one because my intuition is that his work is going to end up being very important to our space. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, and why don't you just give us a high level?
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Shun Usami, Yenom wallet, Yenom Inc. from. And before Yenom, I've been doing 4 years work of English wallet, English education app for Japanese. And for that app, we acquired like 2.5 million users in Japan. And last year, we've been doing that business so long. But last year, I suddenly kind of fall in love with Bitcoin the last summer and start studying about Bitcoin. And the more I study, the more I fell in love with Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is BTC, including BTC and BCH, both Bitcoin.
Sure.
And at the first, I heard Bitcoin Cash is kind of China coin or Jihan coin or something like that.
Sure.
And I didn't know the difference between BTC and BCH, and I didn't know which is good, which is bad, or which is both are good or both are bad or something.
Sure.
I'm not good at Bitcoin the last year.
Sure.
But after studying and researching about Bitcoin, I realized that Bitcoin has a huge potential of changing the world, and Bitcoin Cash is truly not Chinese coin or Jihan coin, and it is the Bitcoin Cash is also the real Bitcoin. And so I started thinking of, I want to make something with Bitcoin. And I as an iOS engineer for 3 to 4 years, so I wanted to make something with iOS at the time. And I tried many Bitcoin application with on app stores, but then I thought that many wallets. I first tried wallets and exchange. The first I thought like, oh, this wallet is too difficult for beginners.
Sure.
Like they say, oh, this is a Bitcoin. If you lose private key, and this will be completely lost. So you have to keep this really secure, like write it down, the passphrase.
Right.
And I just take a screenshot at the time. But someone said, oh, this screenshot is so dangerous. And I was so confused by that. And after studying Bitcoin, I realized, oh, this is what they're saying.
Right.
But at the first, this is really difficult for usual people. Even though I'm an engineer, but it was difficult for me. So if it's my mother, it's completely too difficult for her. And if it's my grandmother, it's too difficult. So I started working on the really simple wallet. Then our wallet has only 2 functions. One function is showing QR code, and this QR code is not it is a Bitcoin address, but this does not show any string. I mean, the Bitcoin address character of Bitcoin address is not showing on the screen. So everyone can easily understand, oh, maybe someone scanned this QR code. And they don't have to understand what Bitcoin address or what cash address is. And the second function is, of course, scanning QR code. And this allows users to scan other QR code and send.
Got it.
that's it. It is our wallet.
Yeah.
And our wallet even don't have the feature of passphrase,
Sure.
backup phrase. So sometimes people ask me that why don't you implement backup phrase? Because people need backup phrase when they lost their phone or something like that. But for me, backup phrase is really difficult for usual or normal people. So I just get rid of this feature. And I want the beginner, I mean the mother or grandmother or father or grandfather or your friend, that those who are not engineer, to first try Bitcoin with our wallet.
Sure.
And then at the first time, they don't have to understand what private key is and what mnemonic is and what Bitcoin is actually.
Sure.
All they have to try at the first moment is send and receive Bitcoin. This is the very core experience of Bitcoin. So I want to make it really simple and easy.
Sure.
And I did it. And and later, if people understand what private key is and what mnemonic is, then people can move to another wallet like Bitcoin.com wallet or Bread wallet, and there are so many wallets in this space.
Sure.
So we are offering the options for the people. Like people can choose, oh, this wallet has a mnemonic, or this wallet has not mnemonic. And maybe if I want to introduce Bitcoin to my friend, maybe this guy can understand the private key, then I'll recommend, okay, let's use Bitcoin.com wallet.
Sure.
But if I think, okay, for this guy, private key or mnemonic thing is too difficult at this moment, so please use Yenom first. This is really simple. Just send and receive Bitcoin is really simple, easy, isn't it?
Yes. And how big is your team?
Currently, we are 5 people in my team. 4 is engineers and 1 is designer.
Got it. And then you're all based in Japan?
Yes, based in Tokyo. I was born in Tokyo and raised up in here.
Yeah. And real as a side note, there is something special happening in Tokyo. I've lived in many places around the world, and there's something happening here. If you're into Bitcoin Cash, this is the place to be right now. There's no question. So I just wanted to put that in there. He's stoked to be from here. Tokyo is the most beautiful city I've ever been to. It's incredibly clean. Everybody's super nice. It's amazing here. So I just want to throw that out there.
And many Bitcoin people are coming to Tokyo.
Absolutely. It's got the biggest adoption of anywhere I've ever been. I live in San Francisco, where you would think there would be crazy crypto adoption, but compared to here, there's not. In Tokyo, you can pay your rent with Bitcoin Cash. You can go out and eat multiple different kinds of food with Bitcoin Cash. You can get paid in Bitcoin Cash. There's meetups multiple times every single week. Bitcoin.com is based here, of course, so there's just a lot of very positive vibe with Bitcoin Cash in Tokyo. So you mentioned your team is 5 people. How long have you guys been working on Yenom?
For Yenom, we started developing Yenom since March.
Got it.
So it's been 3 months.
Cool.
Or 4 months, I guess.
Now, real quick, I don't think you got to plug the name of your previous app. Do you want to do that in case
somebody... The previous app is named Mikan.
Mikan, yes. So if you're Japanese and you want to learn English, they have a successful app, so it must be doing something right. Go check it out and support these guys.
Maybe already they know it.
Yeah,
actually, this is the most popular English app in Japan now.
Got it. Cool. So you guys have been doing it since March. Do you have any idea how many downloads, or how popular is it?
So far, it is not that popular compared to our previous app, like Mikan. We have only 2,000 downloads so far.
Got it.
And this is not quite enough for us to feed ourselves.
Sure.
But the English app is feeding us.
Yeah.
So we can focus building something meaningful to this world. And
that's pretty awesome. So as an entrepreneur and as a developer, you have a few different paths you can take. You can be self-funded if you're fortunate enough to be in that camp, and congratulations. You can go out and raise money, which is overwhelmingly what people do. Or you can have one app which is able to help you bootstrap the next app. So that's pretty impressive, and that gives me the sense that these guys already know how to ship an app that is pleasing to customers enough that they're willing to give them money and support them. So I suspect that the quality of the Yenom wallet will end up being very high because they're already building upon a previous success. So, I don't remember if you had told me, is the Yenom wallet open source, or are you guys planning to open source it?
It is not open sourced, and because I saw many open sourced wallet apps that is forked by others.
Sure.
And if we do this as a business, and then everyone can fork instead of everyone push pull requests.
Sure.
It is really difficult to make money from this business.
Sure.
So we decided to make it private, make it closed source. But recently we are working on the Bitcoin Cash library for iOS.
That's right.
Fully written in Swift. So instead of making the whole project open source, we decided to the part of project open source.
Sure, and we had talked about this previously, and this is the one that my intuition tells me this is going to be huge overnight. So I experienced with BitBox just taking off like crazy. You know, I've tried to do 10 startups with friends in the past. I've wanted to do this for many years, and when I wrote BitBox, it took off from day one, all over the world. And that was because people want to build applications on Bitcoin Cash, and there was just no tooling. That's the only reason it took off. I get no credit at all. It was just that people needed the tools, and they didn't want to be locked into any IP. They wanted to play around and build. People who are makers, people who are hackers, people who build stuff, they want the barrier to entry to be as low as possible so that they can just build stuff. And if you block them out with IP or with money, you can end up hurting the adoption of your own platform. So whenever I saw him the other night giving a talk with Alfonso and the Bread Wallet founder, I remember he closed it at the very end with one liner like, oh, and we're building Bitcoin Cash Kit or something. And it was very quick off the top. But I knew from how important BitBox has proven to be, so many people have asked me on my BitBox journey, can you port this to Swift? Can you port this to Java for Android? And of course, I'm a web developer, so I was like, it's on my roadmap, but I never got there. So as soon as I heard Bitcoin Cash Kit, I'm like, oh my God, they even got the branding right. So I predict that as soon as these guys launch this, it's going to be the go-to library for Swift developers to do Bitcoin Cash stuff. So do you want to speak a little bit more about that?
Yes. Before, why I made this, why we are working on this library is because we had a hard time building our wallet app Yenom, written in Swift. We built this app, but when we are working on this wallet, we referenced some Bitcoin project on iOS space before, but there are no good libraries or no new libraries. I mean, the older ones are existing on the space, but it's written in Objective-C and not maintained for 3 years, like that. And there's not maintained iOS library. And I thought this is strange because Bitcoin is really, really increasing adoption, and this is really popular among the world. And iOS is also very, very famous and popular.
Absolutely.
But there's no library of Bitcoin for iOS. This is really strange, and we had a really difficult time developing our app.
Got it.
And I asked my friends who are just an iOS engineer and they don't know about Bitcoin, about like, do you want to integrate Bitcoin with your app, or do you want to play with Bitcoin on your iOS app? But they said like, oh, I want to do that, but it's too difficult. It seems too difficult to implement Bitcoin features in iOS, or maybe I have no idea it is how difficult it is, or something like that. So I realized that, oh, this library things in iOS space is really needed, and this will bring huge impact to the Bitcoin space. I mean, because there are so many iOS users, and there are so many iOS engineers, developers, but there's no developer toolkit in iOS space. That's why there's few application in this world on iOS. So if we made really simple and easy to use toolkit for developers, then developers can really easily integrate Bitcoin to their apps. And even I think they can invent some new ways of using Bitcoin and invent new contract or something like that in the Bitcoin space. Currently, we have only seeing like wallet thing is only the application we regularly see. Only pay to public key hash or only pay to script hash.
Sure.
But Bitcoin has more than that.
Right.
Bitcoin has a huge potential. So I want to release the potential to the
Sure.
world,
Yeah.
and I want to let people to develop Bitcoin for the first time, maybe.
Sure, and utility drives the network effect.
Yes.
So the more we can increase the utility of any of the platform or the ecosystem, the more we can expect users to be drawn in by the gravity of the network effect. So I totally resonate with that. What is the timeline looking like that, or how's the production coming?
Actually, I want to release it on August 1st,
Yeah.
the anniversary of Bitcoin Cash.
Sure.
But it's maybe I'm really working hard on this
Sure.
recently, and I'm not sure if I can ship it on
Sure.
the date. But
Yeah.
I'm expecting this to be on August 1st.
Yeah, we had a brief conversation about this last night when I was sharing my experience with BitBox, and my personal experience proved to be, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good enough. And there's such a need for a Bitcoin Cash kit in iOS that there's just no question in my mind that it will instantly be all over the world. I'm sure there will be downloads from a dozen countries on day one. So of course, I urge you to ship it and to own that space, and because I think it'll be very successful. And then one last thing I wanted to touch on, you had mentioned you were considering doing some upcoming hackathons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So even though we release library tools, but maybe people don't understand at first. So I want to do the lecture things, and I want to let people gather and ask each other and make application.
Sure.
So I'm preparing a hackathon in Tokyo on August and September twice.
Yep.
And the first one is date is fixed, August 18th and 19th in Tokyo.
Nice.
And the place would be in Tokyo.
Sure. Yeah, I did 2 hackathons in San Francisco with BitBox, and they were incredibly popular. In fact, that's when I first talked to Corbin, so I know the buzz surfaced here to the office in Tokyo. Obviously, we want to be involved in any way we can, from having engineers there to being able to support you on our news site. So, of course, we'll stay in dialogue about that as it approaches. So, I think that's probably it. We're going to wrap up. Go out and check out their app, support them. Any last words?
Last words. Oh, please use Bitcoin Cash Kit, and please come to join the hackathon.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Let's build the application.
Yeah, and then what is your Twitter handle?
USATIA, USATIA.
All right, please go follow him. And does your company have one as well?
Yes, Yenom.
Yenom. So at Yenom, please go follow them. You'll find out more information about their upcoming wallet releases and their Bitcoin Cash Kit and their hackathons. I'm at CG Cardona, Cardona on Twitter. You'll learn more about what I'm doing at developer.bitcoin.com. We're going to be doing streams like this probably once a week, so be looking out for more. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
See you next
you.
time.